come and do this video. I'm doing a 30-day Periscope challenge one. But tomorrow at noon, we are actually doing, or I'm doing a Purpose Planning 2017 free workshop for the Black Women Rights community. And so this whole week, I've been talking about different aspects of purpose. So for those who are just jumping in, I see we have 44 viewers. My name is Quanisha Green, and I am the founder and chief activator of the Black Women Rise movement, where we help Black women entrepreneurs thrive. You know, many times as Black women, we have a lot of things going on when we try to transition on to entrepreneurship. But I know that you desire to fulfill your purpose. You want to have impact, influence, and income, right? Because that's why we're in business. And so what I hope you to do is gain new levels of clarity, confidence, and courage so that you can really stand in this Black woman CEO role, right? I believe you're a CEO from the start. You don't need to be the top of a Fortune 500 company to be a CEO. So really helping you to stand and being this confident businesswoman and taking on what you need to so that you can build revenue generating systems and impact your business. But the first step is learning how to master yourself, right? Master all this internal stuff that goes on so that you can master your business. And that is why Saturday I'm having this complimentary webinar, and I like to call it a workshop. I don't lecture. Many people like lecture on webinars. I'm a workshop person because I believe in letting you get it done. Because many of us don't execute. We don't execute. And this is not just Black women. These are just people, entrepreneurs, right? Budding entrepreneurs. Many of us don't execute. And particularly women, we have a hard time sometimes with implementation because our internal stuff starts to get in the way, right? The imposter syndrome. Worrying if anybody wants to... I'm sorry, I'm trying to read the comments. Worrying, like, sometimes you might say, does anybody care what I have to say, right? Or nobody cares what I have to say. You know, will people pay me for my expertise? Is what I'm doing matter? And someone said, right, execute is the challenge. So, you know, you might have big goals, but you can't get there because you're not implementing. Right? And your purpose, you can say, stays on the shelf, or every year you resolve, you know, you set your resolutions to go and, you know, work on your business while you're still working, and your ultimate goal is to quit your job and travel the world, whatever it is, but you're not implementing in this moment. So tomorrow we're having the workshop. If you go to blackwomenrise.com, because I'm only doing the workshop for women in our community, but I invite you to join. So if you go to blackwomenrise.com when we're done, when you sign up, I will send the information about tomorrow's workshop. So it is Saturday at noon. So if you're planning to come, even though you don't have the details yet, just block that off in your calendar for about an hour. So today I wanted to talk about, what does purpose require, right? So first, let's talk about purpose. Many people define purpose in different ways, right? And many times when we think about purpose, you can say as a society or as a people, whatever, we think of purpose as this lifelong thing. Like, what am I going to do by the end of my life? What am I on earth for, right? Why did God create me? And sometimes that's scary to think about this big lofty thing, right, hanging over you that you have to fulfill. And I take a different stance on purpose. I believe purpose isn't static. I believe purpose can change throughout your life. That's actually been my walk, right? When I was 8 years old, I grew up in the South Bronx in the projects. There's a long story all around that. But when I was 8 years old, I heard God say, right? I actually heard a voice in my head say to go to Harvard and become a doctor. Now, here was a poor Black girl in the South Bronx. My mother had a drug addiction problem, didn't even know who my dad was. And I had no idea how I had any concept of what Harvard was. Of course, I knew what a doctor was. I've been to the doctor, right? And that's why I said it was God, because there was no way in my own brain that I could have come up with that concept. So that was my purpose at the time. And when I asked how to this voice, it said to keep doing well in school. So my purpose at that time was to go to Harvard and become a doctor. And then by junior high school, because I got scholarships and I had a lot of mentorships from my teachers, I was in this junior high school that was dedicated to Black and Latino gifted students and first generation gifted students called De La Salle Academy. And I was sitting with the principal one day and I said, how can I help all those who have helped me? And he said, pave the way for more Quanishas. So there was a new purpose, right? So in addition to my being on the road to going to Harvard and becoming a doctor, I then had a purpose. Again, it was to pave the way for more Quanishas. And that is actually how I got involved in youth development. So my background is in nonprofit administration, social justice, youth development. But I started to go back into my community. I went even to my 6th grade class and I spoke to them about, if I can do this, you can do this. We don't have to be limited by our circumstances, right? I was 13 years old having these conversations with other, the classes behind me, saying that we didn't have to be what we saw in our communities, right? This generational poverty that we saw, right? The kids doing the same things that the parents did and having kids early, and some people going to jail, and or you just having the city job, right? Not going to college. So I went back, right? So here was another purpose. And then I get to college, right? I actually didn't go to Harvard. I didn't like Harvard when I went to visit. So I went to Penn, which is a different college. And yes, stereotypes and vicious cycles, someone said. And the purpose changed again, right? So I believe in holistic education. I'm really a fan of liberal arts. So I decided when I went to college, even though I applied pre-med, that I will still have a holistic experience, right? Has anyone else felt that way? I took economics, I took intro to psychology, I took intro to sociology. And sociology changed my life, right? It started to explain all the things that I experienced. Because even before that, high school, I went to an affluent boarding school, Phillips Academy in Massachusetts. Like both President Bushes went there, just to give you some context of the school. But for the first time in my life, I was a minority in the space, right? I grew up in the South Bronx. It was Black, Spanish people. We had Dominicans, Puerto Ricans, Caribbean folks. We were the teachers, the fire folks, business owners. Like we were the majority, right? And so now in high school, I was in a space where I was a minority. So here I am now, freshman year of college in sociology, learning all about all these isms. And I'm like, someone is explaining my life, the things that I went through, right? Here's the theory that supports the lived experiences that I had. And so my purpose changed again, right? My purpose now was no longer to be a doctor, or maybe I was going to be a different doctor. I was thinking about a PhD, but no longer to be a medical doctor. Obviously, once again, Harvard was out the way because I was at the University of Pennsylvania, and my purpose changed again. And this time my purpose was to figure out how can I go back into my community or communities like mine and make a difference. Right. And that's how I got into social justice work. Years later, I got into social justice work, doing things in my community, even that time impacting how students experience at Penn. I was the political chair of Umoja, which was the umbrella group of Black cultural organizations at Penn. Right. So my purpose changed again. And then we go forward another 10 years of social justice and nonprofit. And last year, I was in a master's program, master's in social work. And I had this whole plan for my master's thesis in my last year. I was going to study African Americans and management and social change organizations. And I kept feeling this tug on my heart. Every time I sat down and meditated, and I would ask God, like, where do you want me to be? Where do you want me to go? He kept giving me this vision of Black women. Black women, you, right? And it was apt because at the time I was the co-executive director of the organization, the statewide organization. And I kept meeting other Black women, some in leadership or some in senior leadership, who kept saying that they were having challenging experiences. Hey there. And some of you may relate to this, right? And actually the studies are showing that we are highly qualified and highly credentialed, but we're being overlooked. So some of them were dealing with bias. Some of them were dealing with this whole tokenism thing. Have any of you ever felt that way when you're the only one and everybody looks to you to be the Black voice? I feel like my son, the noise is coming in. Or the Black woman voice. And so, or they felt like they were being overlooked or their opinions weren't valued. Sometimes it wasn't just our gender and race. It was like age. And so I kept feeling this tugging on my heart, right? And God said, focus on Black women. Focus on Black women, start to study our challenges and our issues. So November of my last year in college, I totally changed my master thesis. And I wanted to examine mental health, Black women, and our battle to exist. Our battle to exist. And I actually used my own life, my own struggle with bipolar disorder and depression and mental health. It's called an autoethnography, where you examine yourself, but you find the research that talks about, the topics that you're pertaining to. And I started to learn all these ways that stereotypes impact how we as Black women identify and how we show up in the world. And I decided I was going to start doing something about it. And so in my last year of college, I actually started coaching Black women. And I decided to enroll in a course, a certification program for being a master in corporate life coach. So once again, purpose changed again, right? Even after I started my business, I had a vision to start this as a business, to take all this research, start as a business. And I was like, oh, I'm just going to work on the inner self of Black women and leadership. Started the business, and then Black women entrepreneurs came to me saying, hey, we want you to create programs for us and services and, talk to us. And so purpose changed once again, right? So I know I'm telling this long-winded story, but that's why I just wanted you to show the proof of my own experience of why I believe purpose is not static. Purpose is not static. Sometimes I can say the overarching theme of my life has been paving the way for more Quanishas, right? Quanisha in all her phases. That's me, Quanisha. For those who are tuning in, I am Quanisha. But it changes, right? So don't get stuck on this idea that purpose is something that you have to, commit to for 30 years and it's going to be something you do for 30 years. Your passions are going to change in different seasons, right? So right now, I want you to think about just the next year, just 2017. What's going to be your purpose? When you get quiet and you tap in and you think about, what do I want to accomplish? What is the impact that I want to have? What does that look like in 2017? Right? It doesn't have to be 10 years from now, just in 2017. Now, you can think long term, right? And this is going to sound a little morbid, but you can, hey there, y'all, again, hearts, you can write your eulogy. So one way to get at even what you want to do next year is to write your eulogy and think about, what is the legacy that you want to leave? What do you want people to say about you at the end of the day? Right? And the reason why I'm telling you to do that, and the title of this video is Purpose Requires. And purpose requires a vision. It requires a vision. And it's so apt when you think about the role of a CEO, right? Supporting Black women CEOs and helping you all to become Black women CEOs, is that one of the roles of a CEO is to drive the vision. But first, you have to have a personal vision and build your business vision around that, because you're going to implement in your business because you're going to be compelled by your personal vision to do so. Let me say that again. When you have the personal vision, right, and you're really emotionally tied to it, then you build your business vision around your personal vision. Because basically you want to build a business that complements your desired life. And then that vision, your personal vision, is going to propel you to do the things you need to do in business. Okay, I see 41 of y'all here. Tell me if you hear me. Tap the screen. Let me know you're there. Say yes, Quanisha, I get it. Got to build a vision. I don't see no comments. I don't want to lecture you, right? I want to engage you. So who here gets that you want to build a vision around your life? Just put yes. Your business vision needs to complement your life. Just put yes if you got what I just said. I see Dr. Ames coming in and out. Just tell me yes if you got what I said, that your business vision needs to be built around your personal vision. And so that's why purpose requires a vision. Y'all are the shyest Periscope viewers I've seen in a while. It's like 50 people on here.
Mommy, that's just me.
Okay, the baby's crying. So that's what I wanted to tell you, that purpose requires vision. It requires vision before you do anything else. So that's why tomorrow in our Purpose Planning 2017 workshop, we're going to hone in on your vision for your personal life, right? Many entrepreneurs jump into planning and doing, but vision without a plan is a pipe dream, right? So if you just go into planning without a vision, you're kind of setting yourself up for failure. And many of us start our entrepreneurship journey by, watching webinars and learning all these tactics and things like that, but you have no direction for where you're going. So you need your purpose, which is your vision, that's going to dictate then what strategy and systems you're going to take to get there. So my baby's crying. I got to go get the kid. But purpose requires vision. And once again, your purpose is going to change as your vision changes for your life. And then you're going to take on different tactics to do that. So we're going to go deeper into this tomorrow, like I said. So tomorrow at noon, we're having a purpose planning workshop for 2017. If you want to join me and go deeper, not only into this, but also to think about why your vision in the first place, right? Why is this vision important to you? And then who do you have to be to actualize that vision, to activate it, right? And also how. So what are the steps you need to take to then implement it and how? Thank you, Dr. Ames, for putting the website there, right? So we're going to go into all that tomorrow because, like I said, your personal vision, it's what is going to compel you to do the business activities that you need to do to then see the results that you want, which is to increase your impact, influence, and income. So this is Quanisha Green, the founder and chief activator of the Black Women Rise movement, signing off. And I encourage you to go to, join Black Women Rise so that you can get the invitation to the workshop tomorrow. And I hope to see you tomorrow. All right. Peace out.